It's 2 in the morning. Your knuckles are bleeding. Your back is wrecked. You smell like motor oil and burnt metal. And you haven't felt this calm in months. Now most people would look at that and think, what is wrong with this person? But I don't think anything is wrong with them. I think they've accidentally stumbled onto something that most people spend their entire lives searching for and never find. And I want to explain exactly what that is today, because this video isn't really about cars. I mean, yes, there are cars in it, but what we're actually talking about is a specific type of mind, a way of experiencing the world that doesn't get studied enough, doesn't get respected enough, and honestly, doesn't get talked about enough. And if you've ever lost yourself for hours under a hood, if you've ever looked up and realized it's 11 p.m. and you skipped dinner, and somehow you feel more alive than you did at noon, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you're going to understand something about yourself that most people around you never will. Let me start here, because I think this is the thing that gets most misunderstood. When a regular person looks at a broken down car, they see a problem, a headache, a bill, a situation that needs to go away. But when you look at it, you see a puzzle. And not just any puzzle, a puzzle with a guaranteed answer. Think about how rare that actually is. Most of the real problems in your life don't have clean answers. Your relationship stuff, complicated, messy, no rule book. Your career anxieties, no clear solution. Your sense of self on a hard Tuesday, definitely no answer key. But a rough idle, a transmission slipping into third, that has an answer. A real findable physical answer. It's in there. You just have to find it. And for a certain kind of brain, that is not just nice. That is genuinely, deeply, almost desperately comforting. There's actually a psychological term for this. It's called need for cognitive closure, and it's a measurable personality trait. Some people genuinely experience distress when things are left unresolved. Not exaggerating, actual psychological discomfort. And they get real, measurable calm when a problem gets solved. Now think about modern life. What is modern life? It is one long, unresolved ambiguity after another. Nobody tells you when you're done. Nobody tells you if you did it right. There's no finish line. There's no click. There's no confirmation sound. But when you tighten that last bolt and fire up the engine, there's your confirmation sound, and your nervous system knows the difference. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. Have you ever been working on something and then looked up, and it's been 3 hours and it felt like 20 minutes? That's not you spacing out. That's actually your brain operating at its peak. A psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent his career studying this. He called it flow, and what he found changed how we understand human performance. Flow is a state where your challenge and your skills are perfectly matched. Hard enough to pull your full attention. Not so hard that you panic and shut down. And when you hit that window, time disappears. Your inner critic goes quiet. All the background noise in your head, the worries, the replays, the regrets, gone. You are just in it. Your brain rewards this with a full cocktail. Dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. The same chemicals athletes feel in the zone. The same chemicals surgeons feel in a complex procedure. And here's the thing nobody says out loud. People who love fixing cars have been accidentally engineering flow states in their garage for decades, without ever reading a single psychology paper. They didn't discover it through meditation or therapy or a $300 course. They found it under a hood. So when someone asks, why do you spend so much time out there? Here's the honest answer. Because out there, my brain works the way it was meant to work. The car is just the key that unlocks it. Actually, before I keep going, I want to ask you something real quick. Do you have a place like this? A thing that pulls you into that state where everything else just goes quiet? Drop it in the comments. Seriously. I read them and I'm genuinely curious, and if this video is already hitting, subscribe right now. I put serious time into these and I want you around for the next one. Alright. Now we go somewhere deeper. Because this stuff, it was never really about the engine. I want you to think back. If you ever learned anything about cars from someone older than you, a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a neighbor who just happened to know things, don't think about the mechanical part. Think about what that actually felt like. The way the garage smelled in the evening. The specific quiet between you that didn't feel awkward. It felt productive. Two people solving something together, without needing to perform anything. The moment you handed them the right tool before they asked. The moment they looked over at what you did, and they just nodded. No big speech. No great job, buddy. Just a nod. And somehow that nod landed heavier than 1,000 compliments ever could. That moment matters more than people realize. Because in that moment, someone who you respected, someone who knew more than you, who'd seen more than you, looked at what you made with your hands and decided it was right, that you belonged there, that you were enough. For a lot of people, that was the first time they ever felt that. Not told it, felt it. And the brain doesn't just remember that. It anchors it. It ties that feeling to everything around it. The smell of oil on concrete, the sound of a socket wrench, the particular way light hits a garage in the late afternoon. Decades later, those things can bring back something that has absolutely nothing to do with a vehicle. It has everything to do with the first time you felt like you were worth something. And this is why fixing cars becomes identity. Not something you do, something you are. And identity is fiercely, almost irrationally protected. Think about it. When work is going sideways, when a relationship is grinding you down, when you look in the mirror and feel like a stranger, the garage is the one place where that narrative can't get in. In there, you know exactly who you are. You have proof. Physical, undeniable, you can touch it proof. That engine runs because you made it run. Nobody can argue with that. Nobody can reframe that. Nobody can performance review that away from you. A psychologist named Albert Bandura called this self-efficacy. Your internal belief that your actions produce real results. That you have actual power in the world. And nothing builds it faster than this. Taking something broken and making it whole with your own hands. Every successful repair is a deposit into an internal account that no bad day can drain. This is also, by the way, why people who love this stuff often get misread as antisocial, closed off, not a people person. But that's almost never the full picture. What's actually happening is quieter than that. These are people, often introverted, often more sensitive than they look, who've figured out, through years of trial and error, one of the most effective methods of emotional regulation that exists. They walk into the garage fraying at the edges. They walk out restored. The car absorbs what the person couldn't carry. Here's something I almost didn't include in this video, because it's real and it cuts deep and not everyone's ready for it. The connection between fixing cars and the need for control. Not control in the toxic sense, in a human sense. Research in behavioral psychology is consistent on this. Perceived control over your environment is one of the strongest predictors of mental health. Not actual control. Perceived control. The feeling that what you do matters. That your effort produces real outcomes. Take that away, anxiety fills the space. And something in you settles. Now here's the part that might hit differently than you expect. A significant number of people who are seriously drawn to mechanical work, like, can't stay away, it's in their blood, drawn to it. Grew up in environments where things were unpredictable. Homes where the emotional temperature could shift without warning. Situations where the rules kept changing, and nobody explained why. A mechanical system cannot do that to you. A carburetor doesn't have moods. An engine doesn't change its story based on the day. It follows laws, consistent, findable, learnable laws. And for someone who grew up inside of chaos, even quiet, low-level chaos, that kind of reliability isn't just convenient, it's healing. The garage became the one place where the world was honest, where effort was rewarded, where the rules stayed the same. If this is you, I just want you to hear, you're not broken for needing that. You're human. I want to push back on something before I close out, because I think culture has genuinely gotten this wrong. There are two fundamental ways humans build meaning in their lives. Two roads. One is through connection with other people. The other is through mastery of a skill. We talk about the first one constantly. Therapy, vulnerability, emotional intelligence, community, all valid, all important. I'm not here to tear any of that down. But at some point, quietly, without anyone really saying it out loud, we decided that the second road is lesser. That working with your hands is a consolation prize. That grease under your fingernails on a Saturday says something embarrassing about you. That spending your weekend in a garage instead of at some rooftop thing means you haven't figured your life out yet. That is not just wrong, it is damaging. Because for a significant portion of people, not a small group, mastery through physical skill is their primary road to meaning. Not a detour, not a backup plan. The road. Strip that from them, or worse, make them feel ashamed of it. And you're not removing a hobby. You're removing the thing that makes them feel worth something. So let's go back to the garage. 2 a.m, covered in grease, completely alone. Here's what's actually happening in that moment. Now that you know what you know, that person is in a peak mental state most people never access. They're doing work that is honest with them in ways most of the world isn't. They're building undeniable proof of their own competence. They might be connecting to something old and deep, the first place they ever felt seen. And when that engine finally catches, when it turns over and runs, something in their chest releases. Not just satisfaction, relief. The kind that says, I can still do hard things. I haven't lost it. I still have something to offer. That is not a small thing. That is everything. So if you've ever tried to explain to someone why you'd rather be under a hood than at a party, And you couldn't find the words. Maybe now you have some. You're not hiding from life. You're not wasting your time. You found something real. Something that gives back what the rest of the day takes. Most people search for that their whole lives. You found yours in a garage. If this hit for you, even a little, share it with someone who lives in their garage and has never quite been able to explain why. Sometimes people don't need advice. They just need to feel understood. Drop a comment and tell me, what's your garage? What's the thing that restores you? I read every single comment on this channel. I want to know. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the bell if you want the next one when it drops. And I'll see you there.